Hello one and all, welcome to another instalment from the channel that is Jono's Graveyard Jaunts. Now today's video is about a person who worked for a company called Jimson & Co in Leicester, and he at the time was employed at Abbey Pumping Station, which is located on Corporation Road in the City of Leicester. The person in question was a man by the name of Robert Richardson, who was working as a 43-year-old labourer at the time. Now today's video also has a paranormal element to it, which will be revealed later in the video. Firstly, I'll give you some background information on the story. In the 19th century, the population of Leicester soared from 17,000 in 1801 to 120,000 in 1881, leaving and causing unacceptable levels of sewerage to enter the River Soar, this being the main river that serves the city of Leicester. Now, to solve the problem, Leicester Corporation began a new sewerage scheme in 1887, which involved laying 11 miles of sewer, a new treatment works at Beaumont Leys and the Abbey Pumping Station. Abbey pumped all of the Leicester sewerage from 1891 until 1964, when a new treatment works was built at Wanlip, 5 kilometres away. The sewerage flowed to Wanlip by force of gravity alone, making Abbey redundant. And 4 years after Abbey's closure, the site became the Leicester Museum of Technology and officially opened in 1973. Now, Abbey Pumping Station was designed by the architect Stockdale Harrison to look like an Elizabethan country house. It is an attractive building considering the job it did. There are 4 engines located inside of the Abbey Pumping Station, and they are the largest surviving and working examples of the Wolf compound rotative beam engines in the country. They were made to a design patented in 1803 by the Cornish engineer Arthur Wolf and are rated at 200 horsepower at 12 to 19 revolutions per minute and pumped 208,000 gallons of sewage an hour. The engines have 2 cylinders each to power them. The first uses steam at high pressure, while the second uses it at low pressure. The engines drive the pumps and flywheel via a beam. The Grand Victorian building and beautifully decorated beam engines were a cause of great civic pride, and the engines were built by Jimsons of Leicester. Now, whilst Robert Richardson was undertaking some work for Jimson and Company at the Abbey Pumping Station, he was marking some ironwork with red lead. He in turn missed his footing on the scaffolding in the roof and fell some 45 feet 14 metres, sustaining internal injuries. At the time of the accident, 2 hours overtime were being worked each day in order for the building and engines to be completed on time. Now, a doctor was called and Robert was rushed to the Leicester Royal Infirmary, where he died from his injuries 2 days later with his wife at his bedside. Now, medicine in those days was very much in its infancy, and sadly the injuries that Robert Richardson sustained could, with today's improved medical standards and hygiene, have been treated and his life could have been saved. As it was, Robert had already been widowed and remarried in 1883, 7 years earlier. He now left his wife Augusta and a young child to fend for themselves in a time when financial help as we know it today was totally unknown. The inquest into Robert's death was reported by the Leicester Mercury on Saturday, the 30th of August 1890. Now, Robert was buried at Walford Road Cemetery on Monday the 1st of September 1890, on a day when it was reported there were terrific thunderstorms over Leicester, most probably causing local flooding. His workmates were not allowed time off to attend his funeral, so out of respect they inscribed the simple memorial in the brickwork at the spot where he fell as a lasting memorial. Okay, so what's the paranormal twist to the story, I hear you ask? Several volunteers have said that when they are alone in the basement of the engine house at Abbey Pumping Station, they get the sense that they are not really alone. There is a feeling, a warm sensation that someone or something is there with you. Is this the ghost of Robert Richardson watching over the current keepers of his beloved beam engines? Now remember, of course, Mr. Richardson's fatality was the only one that ever occurred at the Abbey Pumping Station. There is a cross in the basement indicating where Robert's body landed when he fell from the scaffolding. So if you're ever visiting the museum and get to stand by Robert Richardson's cross in the basement, don't forget to say hello to him. So here we are, guys, at the Abbey Pumping Station, and what we're looking at now are the 4 Wolf rotative beam engines, and this is the top level, and as you can see the beams quite clearly, there are 4 in total. Now what an incredible piece and feat of engineering, and these are all now fully operational. And this is the next level, guys, 2, and you see we've got the 4 rotating wheels here that serve the beams that we've just seen. So this is the next level down. So what, just look at the decoration on these pillows, it's absolutely incredible. This is Victorian engineering for you at its very finest. So here we are. This basically, Robert Richardson, as we can see, this was marked on the wall by his colleagues because they were not allowed the day off when he fell to his death in 1890. So what they've done, as you can see, RR for Robert Richardson and the date of death, which was 1890. So they've put a cross on the wall, and this is basically the basement of, I'll just turn around, pan around so you can see. This is the bottom level of where he fell to his death. So the workers, as I say, were not allowed to have the day off, so that's why they marked this on the wall to commemorate his memory in 1890. So I could not locate the actual grave of Robert Richardson. I've walked up and down every single aisle and row in the respective part of the cemetery, and sadly I couldn't find where he's buried. So what I've done, I've attached a map showing you the area in question where he's buried, and obviously the plot. Now, he was buried on unconsecrated ground. He was a labourer, so obviously he didn't have a lot of money. It was subsequently purchased by Rose, and that's the headstone that should be there, but as I say, I couldn't find it anywhere, so I apologise for that. So I'm assuming that the headstone isn't there, or there isn't obviously the name Rose at all. So I'll show you where it is, but that concludes the video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe if you have.